Just seeing these faces on separate screens. Like because the last one was I haven't used this word in a long time, but it was a fiasco. It was I enjoyed it, but it was a production fiasco. Like I was like,
Production
I
wise,
can
it was
hear
a bit
you.
rough.
I can hear you guys through each other's mics.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was fun. Let's cue the music. Welcome back for another edition of Everyone Hates Us, a podcast dedicated to the art of winning and the beautiful sport of baseball. And baseball is very beautiful right now. I am your host, Euno Lee, joined by our co-hosts, Dan Grievitz, Collin Murphy. And it's, like I said, baseball is very beautiful right now. But before we get to baseball, fellas, of course, your NBA rundown. As fans, I'm sure you guys, anybody who's listened to this podcast more than once knows what our team allegiances are. But just as a refresher, Dan and Euno are both Laker and Dodger fans. And our poor team was eliminated by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
How times have changed.
Unceremoniously ousted 4-1 in a series of, I guess, increasingly excruciating games to watch, right? Like, it's just like, oh, we're running out of gas again. Oh, we're running out of gas again. What's that? The second half? Oh, yeah, let's just play our starters so the entire second half. It was tough to watch, but I might argue that the tougher series to watch, but nonetheless delightful for most of it, was the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. Of course, Collin, a fervent Houston Rockets supporter and an Arizona Diamondbacks fan, had himself a pretty rough weekend, I would say. Yeah, that's not the way you want to go out.
I have something I'll postulate for you guys here, just to kind of kick this off for basketball.
Okay.
What do you think is more disrespectful? Getting eliminated by a 2020 Rudy Gobert game or getting eliminated by prime Oklahoma Buddy Hield? What is the more annoying way to go out?
This is tough. This is tough.
I mean, objectively, one has a lot more trophies in his cabinet.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the other side of the ball, though.
For the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
But still, it's better than Buddy Hield, I would say.
Seeing Rudy Gobert become
he's...
Shaquille O'Neal was something else, though. I gotta say, like, he was
Shaq
like Rudy Chamberlain.
Together. Yeah, Shaq at halftime. It's like, I can't believe I've ever had to say this, but Rudy Gobert is dominating right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
he is unstoppable,
doing literally whatever he wanted.
Everybody's like, put in Jackson Hayes, and I'm like, so we could what? like lose even more? Like,
and honestly, I think heading in, I think I mentioned that, I had no expectations for this Rockets team. That I kind of expected them to go out early, and one of the worst things would be going out to the Warriors or Lakers. But after watching what Rudy Gobert did, our two big lineup would have feasted. Oh my. Like, if Rudy Gobert could pull that off, like, man, we would have more food than Nico thinks Luka eats. Like, there'd just be so much on the table.
Oh God.
Yeah. It was interesting that Gobert only dominated that way in the last game. Like, we were sort of able to make it work. Well, it was a 5-game series, but we were able to make it at least that part of the game. Like, we were able to compensate in other areas enough that Rudy Gobert wasn't killing us the whole series, just completely the last game.
I think that a lot of that is a product of Luka not drawing him out to the perimeter and making him chase him around. And Rudy having fresh legs. Like, Luka clearly looked like a shadow of himself that final game. He was not attacking. I think they stopped blitzing him at some point because they're like, what's the point? Like, what's he gonna do? Like, he can barely run. So I think Luka looked really tired down the stretch. And I think a lot of it had to do with that back injury that he left the game for. I think that's when I texted everybody. I was like, it was a good season, guys. We're done. Like, that's it. It was a good run, boys. But yeah, I think Rudy not having to be dragged out to the perimeter, Luka just basically just switching until he gets Rudy, and then just being like, okay, time to eat. Like, and now it's like, I can't eat anymore. So yeah, I think that might have led to Rudy, because a lot of the offense was coming in that second half where he was just cooking the shit out of everybody and just grabbing all the rebounds. So
yeah, I figured, like, I hadn't looked at it as deeply as you have, but I figured everyone's just exhausted, especially with the very tight roster management that Redick was using.
He was Tibbs on steroids. Like,
yep.
I think Redick, he probably learned a lot from this playoff series. I think he went a little 2-player coach there, rolled his starters out. That clearly did not pay off at all. I don't think this is the best series for him, but I mean, it is his first time coaching, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it does seem like almost, and he did feel intentionally in that game 4, running the starters through the second half, like no breaks, was kind of like, it did feel like it was by design. It wasn't like he was forgetting. He was like, oh, we get 3 days off, just run him into the ground, like, screw it. Like, I'd rather just have a chance to win with this. And then the other thing that I kind of think he did was expose the weaknesses in our roster by just basically admitting to them, like just coming out and breaking down and saying it, like, we can't run Jackson Hayes here. Like, he has no offensive contribution here, especially with Gobert in the middle. And he's just telling us, like, yeah, guys, this roster kind of sucks. Like, the starters are fine. Like, the depth is bad. It's like, all right. Thanks,
I think what also this series showed to me more than anything is Austin Reeves needs to go. He's someone that I think you guys can get something for, but he just doesn't pair with old man LeBron and Luka. It's too much. Like, there's not enough on the perimeter there. Like, the defense, like, just doesn't really hold up. And Reeves is good enough that he's a guy that you can get someone back for. But I think trading Reeves, and if you can get like a big or something back, like, that's going to make a more cohesive roster. Reeves no-showed the whole like playoffs, really. But even outside that, like, his defense just, you have him and Luka out there. That was rough.
You can't hide them both. Yeah.
Exactly.
You kind of wish you could play a shell game where it's like, oh, 2 of these cups have nothing, and one of these cups has the ball underneath. No, it's.
I think people were stoked on Reeves when he was looking at the second option, like, kind of running the offense, carrying stuff to give LeBron a rest. You don't need that anymore. You have Luka. So Reeves is now expendable. And I think the bigger point is that he is someone that can get you something back. Like, this isn't like, dumping someone for pennies on the dollar. This is someone that can get you back like a high level player. But I think just watching the series, and obviously the Timberwolves, they're very athletic on the wings. Like, you can make the argument that that's just a bad matchup. But at the end of the day, that backcourt and the wing defense it did not look like championship level. And I don't think rolling it back next year, even with a healthier Luka, is going to change that.
I mean, yeah, Euno and I, we've both been on the Austin Reeves train the second half of the season. We were both loving seeing him play. He was killing it for a while there after the Luka trade. But yeah, in the playoffs, I do agree. Like, the defense was rough, and he did not play his normal. He didn't contribute what he normally contributes, which is a lot of good, efficient scoring. And I mean, we do need a big badly. if there's one available that we can get with Reeves, I would be talking about it. But it really depends on what we can get.
Honestly,
because he's great.
Something I still don't get is why you guys nixed the Mark Williams trade. I mean, he played out, in the second half, he averaged 15 and 11 after the trade was nixed. So, this is with disposal health issues. I mean, to me, even if no matter what that physical said, I feel like that's just one of those things that you have to roll the dice on. Like, LeBron's is he 40 or is he just
he's
near
40?
He's 40.
He turns 41 this year.
Oh, so he's officially a man. Mike Dungy style.
Nice. I love that reference. Every time I hear it, it's great.
But yeah, you can't be burning seasons with them, and rolling into the postseason with Jackson Hayes as your center. Like, did they expect there to be a big buyout market? I know there has been in the past, but I don't think we've seen that the last several years. It felt like Mark Williams was the last real chance to get someone that could, maybe do something. I
Yeah.
don't get nixing that trade. And him playing the second half of the season, averaging 15-11, just makes me even more think, why? Like that's something you absolutely should be rolling the dice on if you're the Lakers.
You didn't like our pickup of Alex Len?
Yeah, you didn't like Alex Len?
What year is it? Just kidding. I didn't like
It doesn't
him.
matter what year
Like
it was.
It wouldn't have mattered.
It
I
wouldn't have
didn't like him
mattered.
coming out of the draft either.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If that trade going through and Mark Williams doing what he did in the second half for the Hornets for us would have been fantastic. But at the same time, yeah, like nixing that trade happened after the deadline. Like they knew they couldn't trade for anyone after that. Like if it's after that, like making that decision in that context, knowing that you would have to roll with Jackson Haynes instead, they must have just really not liked what they saw. And
because as you point out,
but yeah,
it's not like you guys were going to use Dalton Connect or anyone to like get someone better at that point. Like that
we played Dalton Connect so little in the second half.
I think the only plausible explanation for this is that Rob Pelinka wanted to make like a show of good faith to Luka to be like, hey, we are committed to moving assets to kind of satisfy. And it came out from Luka's camp that they were really happy about that. That Rob Pelinka was so committed to fulfilling Luka's wishes, so to speak. On the flip side, yeah, I'm assuming Rob thinks that there's a better plan A this offseason, whoever that is, and kind of retooling the roster around them, because we do have tradable rotation players. Like they did play, like we got to showcase a lot of the bench over the second half of the season because we had a lot of injuries, unfortunately. And so we do have like serviceable players that can be moved and can build out some big depth. I think it's really just a matter of like who are we going to pick up. And you have to think that plan A is, someone in the range of not Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively, but like, someone around there. I've heard DeAndre Ayton, which kind of gives me an aneurysm, but I like a viable rim runner who stays healthy is like it's a rare commodity in today's NBA. So like, let's roll the dice on one. And I completely agree with Murph's point that Austin Reeves is expendable. I think that he is a viable second option or a third option on a playoff team, on a playoff contender. But that would have to be, like, to Collin's point, you can't have two top perimeter players who are ball dominant, like two of the most ball dominant players in the league in LeBron and Luka, and then Austin, whose primary strength seems to be creating offense off the dribble. So
like, on the ball.
He's redundant.
That's rude. I will say I want to point out Reeves did seem to have the yips like down the stretch there. It was really hard to watch. Like he clearly his confidence was shot. And so like that does kind of hurt his trade value. If you look at it, it's just like, is he still too young? Is he too green to like, take up that mantle of a playoff, bucket getter, because he is a bucket getter, because he had the freaking yips. Like it was bad. Like he would just refuse to shoot. Like he had so many shots that he just put the ball on the ground and then try to drive and kick again. And I'm like, why do you keep spamming this driving kick when you have an open shot? Like what is wrong with you? And just it was hard to watch. So
I don't think like franchises put too much stock in a 5-game set or when they have like a couple seasons of play where they can go over somebody, especially if you're talking about someone at Reeves level. I just don't really think that there's so many examples of people making horrible decisions based off of a good playoff series. Caleb Martin, for instance, and like overreacting to it. Overreacting to that is how bad teams stay bad and don't add like the players that they need to. So I think that there's not too much to that.
That's a nice little bit of propaganda from Collin. I like that.
Well, who was that one Sonic center from like 20 years ago that had one good, like Jerome James, I think that the Knicks signed him after one like halfway decent playoff run and wasted a bunch of money on.
No way. Hold on. Was it Jerome James?
I think so.
I mean, honestly, who I was kind of thinking of as well is, coming off of his last Grizzlies series, Dylan Brooks could not have been less thought of or like wanted.
Dylan Brooks.
But I mean, he shot 40% from 3 this year and was, pretty big piece of this Rockets team. So again, overreacting to a small sample size, I think that's the mistake a lot of teams find themselves in. And I it's easy to like fall in love with a guy who has a hot 5-game stretch and be like, this is a guy who elevates his game in the playoffs. But if we talk about 5 games, I don't think that really.
Yeah, he was an efficient 20-point scorer on a playoff team. Like he's shown that he's a worthwhile investment in the NBA, and I feel like you can. Yeah, in a better situation, you could definitely see him doing better. Like having the ball, like being a more primary ball handler and having someone, more defense to obscure his defensive deficiencies. Yeah, you could definitely see him work for a team.
I'm gonna miss him. The man has a bag like Santa
He's so
Claus.
fun to watch.
He's
That's the
so
thing.
much fun to watch. And I'm gonna miss singing White Iverson by Post Malone every time he touches the ball. Or he comes back. Who knows? Like, and then God, that would be bad. That would be bad.
Yeah,
this defense was. Anthony Edwards made him look like a child. Like it was just. I was like, he's not even there. Like I'm just like, I'm sorry, Austin, you're not. Like AE is cooking your ass and he's eating you. Like you can't do shit. Like, come on, man. Like close out, do something. And sure enough, he couldn't even give us a good take foul. Like he'd just be like, oh, there he goes.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I think it goes down to everyone being tired. Like the effort just sort of fell off towards the end because the tanks were empty, which is not what you want if game 5 in the first round.
And like how prolonged the first round is in the NBA, because they really trying to maximize how many games they have on each day. So you have like the 2-3 days rest. I feel like they kind of cleaned that up a little bit sometimes in the later rounds, just to make sure there's a game on every day.
Yeah.
So the first round's like almost feels excruciating how spread out the games are at times. But.
Well, speaking of excruciatingly long first round series, let's transition here to the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. Murph, so Dylan Brooks, I think you mentioned it was kind of crazy that the Rockets were able to get him for 80/4. And it was coming off the heels of a very ugly playoff loss. I think that was a year after LeBron cooked him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like a really ugly playoff exit. The Grizzlies at the point, I remember that was the Ja Morant, I'm good out in the West year. And I enjoyed that series thoroughly. But that was our NBA finals. Like, just beat the Grizzlies. I don't give a shit what else you do. Like, you could blow up the team after this for all I care. Like, just beat the Grizzlies. And they did. And then Dylan Brooks himself got a contract. I remember making fun of Murph for it. And yet here we are. He was probably one of the most reliable guys that you could bank on in the playoffs. Like, Murph, how do you feel about this team, like, for next year? Like, what are there any moral victories from a 7-game series loss to the Warriors?
I mean, losing to the Warriors for the 5th time in a decade in the playoffs is certainly not great. Some fans were joking or whatever. Like, losing to the Warriors in 7 is like a Rockets fan's 9/11, and Buddy Hield at 9/11 for 3. But I think things that I'm taking out of this series as positives. Number one, Udoka is a good coach, I think, through and through.
Thanks, Colin.
Whatever else people might think about him for some of the other stuff he's been allegedly have done, I thought he outcoached the hell out of Kerr this series. I think Kerr has a lot more tools at his disposal. The zone, the 2-big lineup was very effective. I was very happy with how Udoka handled the series. Amen Thompson looks like he's going to be a problem for the league going forward. He was absolutely a menace defensively, no matter who he was on. So really, really was excited about him. Sengun had some good moments. He had to go head-to-head with Dre. That's tough. That's a tough first matchup for a young guy. But if you compare how he handled everything, I think, to just is another easy young team that ran into him. That went 7. Sabonis, I think he held up better than Sabonis did across the board. So I was happy about that. Jabari Smith looks like he might be able to be a 3-and-D guy. Not necessarily what you like where he got drafted, but he looks solid. I think the big question mark really is, do we and are we able to bring Steven Adams back? That's the only real major piece that's a free agent on this team. That 2 big lineup, Sengun and Steven Adams, fun fact, highest pair net rating in the playoffs first round, plus 20.6 per possession, or was their net rating when they were on the court together. They are 2 big lineup, absolutely pummeled the Warriors repeatedly. It was the non-Sengun and Adams lineups that were hurting. The bummer with that, though, is that did put Tari Easton on the bench a lot, and even Jabari Smith to an extent. It would be nice to see them get more minutes, especially the spacing issues we had in Game 7, which reared its ugly head again. Jabari Smith would have been nice to have out there for that. As for everything else, we have the team option on Van Vliet. I assume we're going to pick that up. Just roll it back with them. Van Vliet, I've been critical of most of his year because he was pretty inefficient. He was red hot games 4 through 6. Absolutely the reason that we were able to come back from 3-1 down. Went back to normal in Game 7, but I don't really blame him too much for that. That's not really his role on this team. You mentioned Dylan Brooks. The contract is deflating. He actually gets paid less money every single year on it. It was front loaded. So his contract's, I think, actually absolutely fine for a 40% 3-point shooter. And he's still a good defender, even with the clown show stuff he does. Even for all that stuff that he got into this series, at best, he was the 3rd biggest clown in this physical series that had more reviews than anything else. Draymond absolutely takes the cake with his unhinged lunatic behavior. And I would throw Pat Spencer for the headbutt. That's just
wow. Pat Spencer ahead of Dylan Crooks. Oh my gosh.
A headbutt is just the dumbest thing you can do.
A headbutt is like prime Dylan Brooks territory. What are you talking about? That's like
Dylan Brooks is never
exactly like something Dylan Brooks would do.
Find me a video of Dylan Brooks headbutting someone.
He definitely headbutt somebody. I'm pretty sure I actually saw it in the Lakers series. I think he might actually headbutt somebody.
Find the video.
He did one of these, not an intentional headbutt, but he just one of those run into him and bang.
I'm shocked he didn't get headbutted, but I don't know of him headbutting.
He is a classic guy who would get headbutted.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I could definitely see it both ways with him. Not finding immediate results, but I take your point. It's he's a very would believe the story if you heard Dylan Brooks headbutted someone.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw his comment after, I think it was Game 5 or whatever. They point blank asked him if he was targeting Steph's thumb. And he just has this mealy mouth answer as he's going through the whole thing. He's like, bum ankle, you go after that. So, if anyone's saying I'm targeting his thumb or something, that wouldn't be wrong. I am.
Just can't even fucking deny it. Just well, yeah. What are you? I'm trying to win a ball game here. What are you doing?
Yeah. I will say also, I did not actually realize at the time that this was legal, but Kerr even got into it, wasn't even accusing Brooks of Dylan play. He was just complaining that the league has allowed this. But apparently the high fives and the hits in the hands after are actually legal.
Yep.
I mean, Brooks was obviously taking it to the logical conclusion of hitting the thumb well after the shot. But at least when I was playing in college and stuff, wherever the high fives got called all the time. That was not allowed. I'm surprised that they don't protect the fingers like that. It just seems like a really easy way to gum up your hands. I don't know. I don't know how I like that. I'm normally a guy who's all about more physicality and stuff in general, but that just doesn't really seem like it's, I don't know. That seems like it's ripe for abuse. And Brooks was obviously doing it.
Yeah, that's interesting that in college for you it wasn't those were being called, because I feel like, at least in my experience, that's always been a no call, or at least that's the story. You're supposed to be a no call is what was always told about the high fives. But
it might have been, but I swear if the refs heard that slap, it got called every single time.
For sure. Yeah.
So you could be right, and I could just be misremembering. what the actual rule was, but I do remember like specifically that got whistled constantly. But college D3 refs also aren't. That's not the pinnacle.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't look
poor
at the rule
SciAc
book.
refs just catching strays out here for no reason. Colin, come on.
Just a lot of people yelling, "Hand is part of the ball" at me.
I mean, typically that's more local. I thought that was more used on drives because that was absolutely a thing where you can hit the backside of the hand.
Oh yeah,
as they're going up and stuff like that's obviously legal and things like that. But on the shot, I thought there was extra protections. And again, I'm solid chance I'm just wrong on this, and it's just how the game's officiated versus how it's like officially like written down like are obviously sometimes two different things.
Oh, absolutely.
It actually came up in the Laker game, like in that there was a contested 3-pointer. I think Luke ended up hitting somebody's offhand. I forgot whose offhand it was, but it was there. I think it might have been DiVincenzo, or Nasri, but like it was the offhand, and so they actually ended up rescinding the foul on review. And it was after the ball had left, so they were like, I was like, I know the rule here, like it shouldn't be a foul, and they went from 3 to I think a jump ball or something like that. But
I think you have to at that point, because you don't know who's gonna get the board, right?
Yeah, so that was an interesting one.
Things I was disappointed in. Well, that list is actually only one thing long, really. Jalen Green, our leading scorer. That's tough. Honestly, I think the big thing is just because like a lot of the players that you'd think that we'd be able to load up and try to go for. Obviously, Giannis is one that people constantly bring up. It doesn't really work with Amen and Sengun, who are our two best players. I can't even imagine what a Giannis like Amen Sengun spacing situation would look like.
No, you get out. I was here first.
So I think everyone really wanted Jalen Green to kind of show out. I think there's a lot of like in the organization thing of just from a shooting spacing, like build the team out. We don't really have that guy. I'm still on if we can trade him for Booker, all for it. Suns don't seem too keen on that at all, but I would trade whatever package is needed to like round that out. Obviously, there's other stuff that needs to go, but Green for Booker is something I absolutely am hoping for this offseason, but we'll see what comes. I think he's the best player we can get with. I'm trying to think of who else would fit the team.
Austin Reeves.
Absolutely not.
Austin Reeves. He can shoot the 3. He can get you a bucket. Austin Reeves. Not. Would you rather have had a Jalen Green or Austin Reeves in the series? Be honest.
Reeves, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we need the creation over like the extra defense that Green provided, I believe. It's not like Green wasn't, I think he was involved in one of the flagrants in 3 of the techs in the series anyway. The series had like 16 techs, 4 flagrant fouls.
The best series. It was my favorite series.
The only series with an ejection.
The only series in which there was a clear path foul, and I was like, that wasn't even that bad. I was like, what are you talking about? When Fred VanVleet in Game 7 just like clocked like Jimmy Butler running to the basket.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at them being all nice to each other and shit.
That was a really bad turnover from VanVleet, though.
That was a horrendous,
really, really bad part of the game.
Horrendous foul. I think that was it. Yeah, you guys were down 10, and that was it. The nail in the coffin was right there, and I was like, that and Amen's calf kind of seizing up, I think was like, wow.
Yeah,
that was unfortunate because holy hell, can that boy defend? Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Beautiful. It's beautiful watching that stuff. Like he's so long. And he's so skilled and so agile. It's beautiful. I was like, he's the best player on the court. Okay, like he's so good.
That one finish he had going through traffic and everything, where he just like kind of hangs for an hour and a half. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. Both those brothers, the twins they were built to stop people from scoring the basketball.
He made Steph look like a kid, dude. I was like, damn, no wonder Steph isn't scoring. Nobody's scoring on this guy. Like, what the hell?
I think that one game he had 5 steals and 2 blocks on Steph alone. Just absolute torture chamber shit.
Steph had 2 points at halftime, dude, in Game 7. Yeah, dude.
No, they did well. Like also late though. Like they got Amen off of him, and we started running Amen on Jimmy more. I think one thing that didn't really work out for us is Brooks wasn't holding up versus Jimmy Butler very well, so we did put Amen on him. And then Steph started. I think the idea was we'll just double Steph, and then have Amen go to Butler, and then just kind of hope for the best on the rest. And then Buddy Hield going nuclear, and Steph found some space. I do wonder if maybe we should just kept Amen, try to keep Amen primarily on Steph, would maybe the better decision, and a banged up Jimmy Butler try and beat you maybe, and not like give up open threes to Buddy Hield and pods. But we did do that to win games, so it's tough to really judge it. Like the
it's
zone
worked.
The flash worked. I liked most of what Udoka did. I think the only mistake I can really throw in there is the game 4 benching Adams on the hack of Adams preemptively. I think he learned from that though, because 5 and 6 he just played through it.
Yeah,
and the amount of offensive rebounds we got off the Adams missed free throws meant it didn't really even matter anyway.
Dude. Yeah, that's one player I would love to have on the Lakers right there, Steven Adams. Oh my God,
you guys need a big, but I don't think you need that big. Like you need a rim running big, not an. He's down there somewhere. Just throw up a shitty shot.
He'll run up the rim.
Cleans it up, guy.
He'll run somebody over on the way to the rim. That's what I want. Okay, like he's my little truck. Okay, he's our little semi.
Yeah,
man, I want him so bad.
No,
he's
but
such a great player to have on your team.
Luka's like Harden though, where like you want an above the rim guy to take full advantage of the pick and roll.
Yeah.
Then you put the big in hell where they like have to pick between like contesting the floater or staying back for the alley-oop lob, and it just puts everyone in an awful position. That'd be your best. But obviously, yes, Adams is better than Jackson Hayes.
I just want him as a backup or something, like our 6 foul guy. You know, like, can you imagine 6 fouls from Steven Adams? Like, you would need to put on a bulletproof vest. Like, this would be amazing.
I think at this point in his career, like, yeah, he's a backup guy through and through.
He's 31.
Playoffs, you can play him like starter minutes, but I just don't think like you really want to be relying on him for 30-something minutes a night in the regular season. Like, we barely played him, and then we pulled him out for the playoffs. He averaged like 28 for us. Like we gave him some real minutes.
I will buy tickets for Steven Adams rim runner. Okay, like I will buy tickets for that. Are you kidding me? I'll show up early. I'll be like, hey, Uncle Steve, come on. You ready to go? Let's go.
That's the only real big decision we have. And the Jalen Green question.
I think you guys should ship him because he's not. But like that would be selling low.
He's a UFA.
Oh no. Jalen
Green.
Yeah, but that would be selling low. Like he would need to turn a corner, but then even then, it's just like it's such a weird conundrum because he's, you know. Like
he's a
supposed to be really good.
Who's averaged over 20 a game. Like,
okay, here you go. He's selling us a used car, Dan. Don't listen to him.
Like, you know, as I said earlier, you shouldn't overreact to one playoff series and how that, you know, really reflects on a player.
Yeah. I mean,
I've only been saying all year he's not even your 3rd best player. Like, what the hell? Like,
who's our 3rd?
I'll take Jabari Smith Jr. over fucking Jalen Green. Are you kidding me? What the hell? At least Jabari Smith Jr. knows he has a role. Like, at least he knows he focused on something. I don't know what the hell Jalen Green's going to be. He's like Nick Young. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm getting.
I've said this for a while. I really think there's no shortage of guards that can get you 20 a night on like efficiency if you gave them the green light that Jalen Green has had the last several years. Game 7 was we needed him to do something. I know he mentioned the lights are a little bright for him in game 1. He flat out admitted that. That's not even speculation. Which he then bounced back with that amazing game 2. And then he was just garbage the next 5 games. I'm not sure if he had more points than shots in the last 5 games of the series. I think he broke double figures once. I think he had 11 points, but normally it's 8, 9, 11. It was a really, really bad series from the leading scorer on the team, in a series where we really struggled to score the ball. That was very, very disappointing to see from Jalen Green, and I had pretty low expectations heading in, but him kind of.
I thought he was good.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you've been talking shit about Jalen Green all year, and so like your expectations must have been low. Still managed to clear that.
Managed to get under that.
I mean,
that's saying something.
Ignore game 2, and he didn't even average double figures. This is our leading scorer. He averages like 22 a game. Normally, my frustration was like, you know, the streakiness and or the efficiency, but to not break 11 points more than once in a series is. I mean, that
he was saving his streak for the second round. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
like I expected 2 to 3 games out of him. We got 1.
The man was horrendous. Like, there's no
Yeah.
denying that. Yeah.
And what's it called? He had the forearm to Dre's face, which, I mean, of all players, that's someone who probably deserves it. But still, he was picking up like some weird fouls and stuff. I don't know. I mean, our whole team plays that way though, so probably shouldn't be singling him out. Our whole team plays like they are pissed off in the morning and get worse throughout the day.
That's the thing that I kind of wanted to. So Murph, all season long, you were saying that this team is like a hustle team. You know, they do all the little things that are going to win you regular season games. Well, guess what? That ended up being the thing that won them playoff games too. Like, they have that grit and they have like the, hey, we're gonna muck this up real bad, and let's see who wants it more. And
it did help
worked.
Playing like one of the only team besides maybe you guys that is like so pathetically small that the offensive rebounding actually did translate. Because typically we've seen this before with teams that are invested in the regular season. You can put up high offensive rebound rates, but when teams play their starters more, when teams are more invested and they're actually game planning, teams box out better, and the offensive rebound rates drop on teams like that. That's an archetype that typically shows a flawed team if you rely heavily on that for your points.
Mhm.
Obviously, offensive rebound's still good. You want to be a good offensive rebound team even in the playoffs. It's just when the Rockets, we had the highest percentage of our points coming on second chance points in the NBA. Like, that's not really sustainable. We were bottom 5 in all the shooting metrics. We were 30th in free throw percentage. Like, this
that reared its ugly head throughout the playoffs, by the way. That was like,
we went down 3-1 because we shot over 61% from the free throw line as a team once in the game we won. Like, it's not really asking for a whole lot. 61. Like, come on.
Come on, Ime. Get them to line up, man.
Run suicides until you make
10 makes or we don't go home.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you on your point that they continue to do what I expected them to do. They defended well, they offensive rebounded well. I do think that it did just translate better to this Warriors team, who is very, very small. You even heard Draymond say after game 6, it's just tough for me out there. Steven Adams is 6 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier than me. Like,
he's also your dad, Draymond. Like,
so, I mean, not even getting to him, right? Because Sengun's there. Amen crashes hard. So, we're sending 3 guys to the rim like pretty consistently. I mean, that's how Jimmy Butler got hurt. But I think so. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do think that the offensive rebounding, we did run into one of the only teams where that was going to work. You guys are probably the other one.
That's rude, but I'll take it. It's true.
Yeah,
it's very true. Good God.
Yeah, no argument.
You know how
here.
the Lakers grabbed defensive rebounds? It was off vibes and like and prayers. Like, it was like, oh yes, it bounced the way that I was hoping.
Meanwhile, we're fighting each other for the rebounds.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
honestly,
same
like,
team, same team, same team, same team. Like, every damn possession, same team, guys, same team.
I'm actually amazed we don't lose more rebounds, because the way everyone attacks, like, it feels like the ball gets tipped around between a couple of them before it settles, like, way too much. But I think the guys do a good enough job pulling off at the last second. But the way that they fly in so consistently, you definitely even feel defensively that they're going to like drop a ball out of bounds or pitch it out to like someone. It's always a worry, I think, on my end.
Oh no, my favorite part was like, it's a bunch of Rockets jerseys, no Warriors jerseys. It's like, hey, should you guys be getting back on offense? Like, but it was a great series. And Collin, yeah, you actually do have a lot to be excited about, and it really does seem like you're a solid primary ball handler, whether that's Jalen Green morphing into like the player that he's supposed to be, or it's like getting a player who's going to do that for you away. But you've got depth, you got youth, you got an identity, which is really rare for a team this young. Is like, they've got like a really strong identity of like, hey, we will muck this up and you will have to find a way to beat us, because we're just going to beat the shit out of you.
In that sense, Brooks and Van Vliet, as well as Adams, like, those were great vet signings.
That's what I'm saying.
Stone did. They fit Udoka's vision. And honestly, everyone thinks it's the old guys bringing it in, but you look at how Algier Thompson's playing too. I think the Thompsons just, they're just nasty. Like, they're mad, they're angry. Yeah. Tari's always played with an edge. So I don't really think the vets were really imprinting as much on, but I do think it probably does help coach everyone to be like, channel that in a positive direction, because you can also kind of lose your head a little bit with it. I'm proud of the team for the resilience they showed coming back from 3-1 down. Didn't roll over in any of the games. Like, I think it was the most competitive series of the first round, just because the Clippers rolled over.
For sure.
You know, and the Rockets, meanwhile, it's a young team. That's a team that you might expect might actually, get demoralized, fall apart at 3-1 down, or even the way Game 7 went. And you had, we were halfway through the second quarter, and we were on 29 points. Stuff like that.
That's good vet. I know good vet when I smell it. I can smell good vet. That's good vet over there. You down 3-1 and you fight back. That's good vet. I think Fred VanVleet definitely had something to do with that, like you mentioned. And that's good vet. Like, they
Also,
don't give a fuck.
I was pretty impressed with Brooks too. Like, he did a lot of small things where he was pushing like more important players out of altercations that they shouldn't be getting involved in. Brooks, I think, is perfectly okay getting involved himself, obviously, but he knows guys like Amen Thompson and Sengun, who will absolutely mix it up. Like, Dylan Brooks is the one that was removing Sengun from the Spencer play.
Yeah.
I was telling him, it's like, dude, Pat Spencer is not worth it, bro.
It's like, dude, that guy is gonna be on the bench anyway. Like,
it's either here in the locker
on the
room.
bench.
Yeah. So I thought, obviously, I guess he didn't shake hands, and no one really likes Brooks. Jimmy Butler even at that press conference just
did he call him like a punk bitch or something, like, in the game? I forgot what he called. He's like,
sucka is the term I heard.
Okay. I was like, damn, Jimmy, come on, man.
But
he's just doing his job, okay? Like,
yeah. I mean, Brooks is Brooks, but I think it's tough to leave this series like thinking that he was a problem or like kind of got us into anything really. And I think anyone that tries to equate the handful of plays that he was involved in compared to the shit that Dre pulled every single game in that series, I think you're just looking for someone to hate on, then you're picking the losing team on that. Like, Draymond was by far the more egregious player of the two in the series, like day in, day out.
As always.
I thought it was Amen Thompson for breaking Jimmy Butler's groin, like pelvis over his knee. Like, he just WWE style picked him up over his head like the Ultimate Warrior or something, and just like dropped him over his knee. It was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'll see you in 2 games.
But yeah, I agree with you, Dan. I think the part of me though is just like the way that the media and I guess sometimes people cover it. Like, you'd actually think Brooks does a lot more like awful stuff than just slap a guy's hand, like talk some weird trash. Like, he did that weird yoga pose to interrupt like the thing. Like, he does more like weird antics, and like he's involved in a lot of small things, but he's not the one like swiping at guys' heads, throwing them to the ground, kicking them in the face, doing nut shots and stuff like that.
Dylan Brooks is annoying, but
Dan, I know. Dan.
Yeah.
Why are you giving Collin a platform for Dylan Brooks' apologism? Like,
it's not.
I dislike Dylan Brooks, but I really, really dislike Draymond Green. Like, this is like, there's many levels to this. Like, Draymond, the stuff that he's been pulling for like a decade now is in the playoffs, just like in front of everyone. And just continuously doing it is crazy to me.
It is crazy. And I fully agree. And Dre has the plot armor of the NBA for some strange reason. Like, I just don't understand who thought it was a good idea to give this guy a show and like a spot on the inside of the NBA panel. And like,
he's not good. Yeah, he's not likable there either.
Like, imminently cancerous to our sport, and you are bringing him in on TV. Like,
and I'm not trying to apologize for Brooks. I just feel like people were equating like the behavior throughout the entire series and everything.
No,
you're talking about a guy slapping someone's thumb.
No,
and maybe some like weird antics after the whistle with the guy who every time his screen was set was grabbing someone by the back of the head and chucking him to the ground. Like, these are not the same thing. Like what these two guys were doing in that series.
I'll agree.
Like,
Brooks seems to have a line. Like, Brooks has like a line that he won't cross where it's like, okay, yeah, I'll slap the guy on the hand, but like that's a known weakness, whatever. It's gonna bother you, but it's not gonna make you more injured. You know what I mean? It's gonna get under your skin. Dre's just violent. Like, Dre just doesn't give a shit. Like, he's like, the kicking dudes in the nuts thing is what gets me. It's like, bro, who taught you that was okay? Like, don't you have a dad who told you like don't do that? Like, come on, man.
The one thing I will say is he did look genuinely apologetic for the kick in the head that he gave to Tari Eason. When Tari picks him clean, he like drags him down by the jersey and then like, rolls over, kicks him in the head. I honestly thought he was trying to kick him in the balls when he was trying to get up, and then decided against it. Then he does that weird thing when he gets up where he wraps his arms around Tari's legs as he like goes into him, and somehow all that just was one like foul type thing. Absolutely ridiculous.
That's a please don't suspend me damage control.
And he was on a tech too.
Yeah.
So like he honestly should have been tossed for that one. But whatever. Like ignoring all that, I will say he did look apologetic to Tari afterwards with it. When Amen also like just got in between them. I think he said, "Shut up. No one wants to hear it."
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's very gentle for an NBA game.
Well,
yeah.
when you try to kick someone in one place and you accidentally kick them in the head, you know, you feel bad about it. I meant to kick you somewhere else. I'm so sorry.
I meant to kick you in the nuts, but I ended up kicking you in the head. I'm sorry, dude.
So yeah, I will say he did look apologetic for that one action, but he looked like he didn't care at all about ragdolling our guys repeatedly on screens and all the other stuff and BS that he committed throughout the entire series. So
he would have been called for holding in an NFL game for a lot of those. I was just like, this is disgusting. Like, what the hell?
It's egregious, and it's been egregious. Like it's just been an ongoing problem. Like you sort of just expect another Draymond incident to happen every few weeks or less. Like especially in the playoffs, it's a continuous stream.
He's at the suspension threshold for flagrants already.
Already?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, the game 7-1 that put him at the limit.
Oh my God.
And I think he's very close on techs because he picked up a tech in damn near every game too.
Dude,
I think he's one away from techs as well. Like he's one away from either.
Wow.
I think he has one to go on techs, but I think flagrants, it's literally at the suspension limit. And I think the flagrants don't reset. I think the techs maybe do.
Okay.
But the flagrants, like once you hit the number, every flagrant's a suspension.
I thought the techs roll over. I think the techs roll over.
Well, the flagrants, it's like once you have 3, I think. What's it called? The 4th one's a suspension. The 5th one's a suspension. 6th one's a suspension. You get suspended for every flagrant you do going down the line. I think techs, it resets. Like once you hit 5, you get suspended for a game or whatever. And then like you have to do 5 more to get suspended a second game.
I see. Okay.
But while flagrants, it is literally you just keep getting suspended.
Okay. Oh, like every time it happens?
Yes. For every flagrant going forward,
Damn.
suspended.
Yeah.
These refs are gonna have a tough job ahead of them because they're gonna be
Stray versus Gobert, his noted favorite player in the NBA.
You know what? I need Gobert to just like punk his ass, like straight up, like Rudy, you ain't got the flagrant fouls or the technicals to worry about this. Like just punk him. Like, I mean, I just want to see it.
If you're Rudy, you kind of have to know heading into this series, you have a lot of leeway because I don't think he picked up anything in the Lakers series.
Yeah.
And Dre is again at the limit already.
That's what I'm saying. Rudy, you do that, and I won't take back everything bad I've said about you, but I will no longer say bad things about you. How about
like if Rudy Gobert had the mindset of, let's say, a Dylan Brooks, he would be trying to get double teched every single game of this upcoming series.
100%. You should totally do it. Oh my God. You're almost swaying the matchup I'm most looking forward to this week, but you're not gonna get me off my you're not gonna knock me off my perch. We'll get into a little bit of baseball in our closing segment, but yeah, this is so far a lot of fun. We'll be right back with matchups we're looking forward to and gratitude and rants. Okay.
Sorry if I went long on the Rockets.
This was awesome. No, I love this.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. I'd rather this than like, us doing like something formulaic. This is more like, I like this.
Yeah, this is lovely.
I have a lot to say about the Rockets.
Oh, I bet you do. You know, we're gonna do taps for the Lakers, like the end of the season. You know, like, but I just ended up punting it. But we should definitely do a taps for like the conference finals teams.
I feel like the taps is funnier when you keep doing it like
way
too early.
It's like a bit at this point. Yeah.
Like if you play taps for the Celtics down 1-0 in the series or something ridiculous.
I should have done that. I was like, now here lie the one-time NBA champion.
Can't wait to hear them talk about how they're a dynasty in the media 10 years
Oh my
later.
God. You know, yeah. And speaking of guys who made a bunch off of one ring, fucking Doc Rivers, dude. Holy hell.
Oh, I know.
Oh, fucking yuck. Let's get back to it real quick. And I'll kick this off since you guys, and I know Dan's prepared too, so I'll throw to Dan after. All right. And we're back. Thanks for rejoining us. We're going to get into our final segments here. Today, we've got matchups we're looking forward to, gratitude and rants. I'll kick us off. And the matchup I'm looking forward to, starts this Thursday. Chase Field, Arizona, the defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers versus the 2023 World Series runners-up, the
You
Arizona
could just say
Diamondbacks.
NL champs. It sounds better.
No, I like World Series runner-up. Just sounds funnier. The Diamondbacks currently are sporting
We're
a
18-17.
18-17 record. They're 6 games back of first place, but they're right in the mix for that fourth wild card. That third wild card. They're not 4 wild cards. There are 3. They're right in that mix for that third wild card spot. They could make the NL Best a 4 playoff team division, which would be sick. They have every reason to show up for this series and maybe give their team the shot in the arm they need to peel off a run here. The Diamondbacks, of course, love bludgeoning the Dodgers to death. They kicked our ass last season. They kicked our ass in the playoffs in 2023. This is a good team, okay? And they've got some major starting pitching woes, not the least of which is Corbin Burns, who came in for...
Thanks again for the tip, y'all.
Yeah,
I told you. Never pick a Diamondback free agent.
Well, my wife took him and she's doing fine, so whatever. But this is rough. But again, the D-backs, of course, are being buoyed by their fantastic offense, including a crazy stretch from previous NL co-player of the week, Eugenio Suarez, who came off a 4 home run game. So like, this is the type of team that they are. They'll start mashing when they feel like it, and sometimes they just feel like it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Unfortunately, of course, Suarez lost that game that he hit 4 home runs in. This is an offensive firepower versus offensive firepower matchup. So it's going to be exciting to see. I'm sorry?
And Catel's back.
Yeah, Catel's back. Yeah. So.
Yeah, our lineup's pretty great right now. Perdomo is hot. Carroll's hot. The bats are alive. The pen is in absolute shambles. Could not be in a worse state.
Yeah, but that's my matchup I'm looking forward to for sure. Yeah. The gratitude, I want to express my gratitude to the USC Trojans baseball team for taking the season series against UCLA yesterday. I was able to go back to my old stomping grounds at USC with Jay, and we had a little walk around Tommy Trojan and the old bookstore, and just went around a little bit around campus. But shout out to the USC men's baseball team, consistently overshadowed by UCLA, I think, at least in recent years. You know, we've had some great alums come through there, obviously. Randy Johnson comes to mind. Mark McGuire comes to mind. Which is why,
Tom Seaver.
Tom Seaver, huge. So we've had some great players come through. Hopefully this is like a nice little wake-up call for USC baseball to stop being overshadowed by UCLA. Because UCLA, you know who they had? They had Trevor Bauer, which
and Garrett Cole.
Yeah, but we're gonna focus on Trevor Bauer. Can you imagine your school?
And they hate each other.
I know, which is like, and it started there, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, ew, Trevor Bauer. Like, your school graduated Trevor Bauer. Yuck. Meanwhile, we got Randy Johnson, clean as a whistle. That guy, one of the best pitchers ever. Rant. I was gonna rant about. I was telling Dan I was gonna rant about Lakers Reddit again, but I can't do that anymore. Murph, I think I might have gotten banned off of Lakers Reddit, like the Lakers subreddit.
Of course you did.
You know how I do. My rant is reserved today. I'm gonna keep it short. Is reserved for, it's actually UFC related, and it's for these people who are saying that the 155 champion Islam Makhachev is ducking Ilya Topuria. It bothers me. I was like, this is such a stupid narrative. But basically, people are alleging that the 155-pound champion Islam Makhachev is saying, hey, Ilya, who's the 145-pound champion, needs to fight somebody at 155 before he gets to fight me. And it sounds pretty reasonable. Unfortunately, the problem being that Ilya vacated his title at 145 to move up. in weight class, and so it's getting real dicey. It's getting real spicy, but I have never seen Islam Makhachev duck anybody. It's just like the stupidest thing. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's never ducked anybody. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So yeah, that's my rant. It's just stop saying that. Like, just don't be ridiculous. Like, yeah, Islam's gonna fight Ilya. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, that'll do it for my gratitude and rants. I'll throw it to Dan. What do you got?
All right. For matchups, technically, I am really looking forward to Game 1 of the Diamondbacks Dodgers series because I'm trying to be there for it. My first time at Chase Field, so that should be a lot of fun. But in the individual matchup that means the most to me this week is tomorrow, Arsenal PSG. The second leg, we lost 1-0 at the Emirates in the first round a couple weeks ago. But I'm pretty hopeful. The Arsenal's been playing pretty well overall, and PSG has a history of collapsing in the second leg of Champions League matches. So yeah, hope springs eternal. Beyond that, my rant is essentially what Euno alluded to. The narratives around the Lakers this year, like when we traded Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, pretty much everyone that I talked to were like, oh yeah, like we're like, and especially after the Mark Williams trade got rescinded, like this was a sort of a punt year. Like we sort of were punting on this year to get Luka and then build around him in the offseason. And that was reinforced. Like I was a pleasant surprise to see that we got some Mark Williams, and then it was reinforced when we rescinded the trade. It was like, okay, no, we just have literally no big men. But then they started playing well, and people got excited, and yeah, like they were playing well for a while, but ultimately the thing that we said would happen when the trade happened pretty definitively, and it feels the backlash against some of the like backlash against LeBron and stuff like that is very silly. Like, why this team, you can't win with a team like this. Like, you can be competitive in games, but yeah, small rotation, very small in size, and yeah, it sort of played out the way that we should have expected it to play out. Anyways, I am thankful for a couple of things. I'm thankful for the Inter Barca matchup that ended today, 7-6 on aggregate. Pretty fun to watch. Really good football. Inter is really good, and whoever advances to the final will have a tough time with them. I hope it's us. I'm thankful to watch the Clippers rolling over in Game 7. That's always fun. It's good to keep the balance in the LA teams. Both had to keep. We had a disappointing crash out, but never looked as defeated as they did in Game 7. So that's something. But the thing I'm most thankful about is that I played basketball for the first time in like 2 years, like a couple weekends ago, since the last podcast, and my knee held up, and I was able to not hobble around afterwards. So yeah, very thankful for that.
We're getting old when that's one of the gratitudes is my knee held up. That's wow, we're getting old. Oh
yeah,
God.
well, I mean, I've also had like tendonitis in my knee, like on and off for a few, like since I was like in my what year, 25. So like it's been a thing. But yes, I am getting old. But yeah,
tendonitis blows, by the way, sucks absolutely. So I'm happy for you. Fire JJ Redick. You're in a 5-man rotation. Why did you play Jackson Hayes? Like,
I'm totally with you guys on that. It really felt like more the media gassing up something flawed just so they could tear it down when it inevitably crumbled. I felt like expectations were really kind of accurate on the Lakers, which is very rare after the trade. And then I know the Lakers, they got hot a little bit there to end the regular season. They moved all the way up to the 3 seed. But still, I mean, the difference between the 2 and the 8 was like, what, 4 games at the end of the day? Like,
oh, yeah. Nobody counts those seeds as for anything. Like, this is the most parity we've seen in quite some time.
Exactly. I mean, I did say, I do think there was a little gap between us and everyone else. If you're doing regular season only, just because we stalled the last 3 games.
But Murph, remember how you're like, oh, you guys like try hard, crash the offensive boards, do the things that are like gonna win you regular season games. We are the team that you thought you guys were, and you guys are actually a good team. Like we're that team. It's like we got Luka, and it's like our effort level on defense. Have you ever seen Luka work that hard on defense, like in your life? Like I'm like, what is he doing? Like we got playoffs after this, dude. Like stop doing that. That game we won against Denver, incredible defensive effort from us. In a regular season game where they probably didn't give a shit. You know, they're just like, yeah, whatever. I don't like my coach right now. Hey, what do you think about Michael Malone? I think he kind of sucks. We should get rid of him. You know, like, it's just like, oh, yeah, we got a game today, guys. Who are we playing? That doesn't matter, like the Lakers or something. You know, it's just like, and we came out like a bat out of hell. And I think off of that win, it kind of changed the fan base's like whole tone on everything. They were like, oh, we finally overcame the boogeyman. And I'm like, no, the boogeyman had to go take a shit. Like he's this is a stand-in, you know, like it's not the real boogeyman. So I think that was a little bit of what we saw. And so yeah, the Lakers were the kind of like we're overperforming in the regular season. Yeah. And then I thought the Rockets played like I thought they would and like damn near won that thing. Against a very good Golden State team. So yeah, I'm just
I think the Timberwolves will handle the Warriors pretty easily, to be honest.
Really?
I think that I have the Wolves too. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Jimmy, but
like they looked a little tired in our series at times, and the Wolves are more athletic. They're going to test you a little bit more on the wings. Like they're going to have the same big issue that we gave them.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a lot of similarities, except for that they have an offense.
That's my thing. Is like, yeah, Golden State's offense is pretty limited, and if Steph's not hitting them, like you're basically banking on Buddy Hield. Like it's like Buddy Hield and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I mean it would take a monstrous series, I think, from Steph for the Warriors to come through this, in my opinion. So I think they'll get through pretty easily. But yeah, the Lakers stuff it's just ridiculous to me. Like the Lakers. Yeah, I don't know. The media sometimes I feel like disingenuously pumps them up just so that they know they can like create a hype machine that they can rip down later.
Like, Dan, do you ever feel like, hey, we don't deserve this? Like, we don't deserve all this good stuff that happens to us. Like, like some of this stuff, like the Luka trade was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous.
The Luka trade was a bit much. It was like, whoa, okay, thank you. But
I feel disturbance in the force though. Like,
Nico was coming on to us a bit strong there, but that's okay.
Shit, he can come on to me all he wants. Thank you, brother. Murph, gratitude rants. Match you looking forward to?
Yeah, my matchup I'm gonna look forward to. I mean, Dodgers Diamondbacks when I was listing, but the Thunder Nuggets series, I think that's the best series of this upcoming round. It's gonna be the two MVP, number 1, number 2 MVPs. Shai's going to win the MVP. I think that
what did you just call him?
Ballots, SGA.
Did you just call him Shy?
Yeah.
Dan, I think he called him Shy.
Yeah.
I did hear that. Yes.
I meant Shay, but either way, I think the important thing is he's going to win it, but Jokic, I think, proved even last night. Jokic is still the best player in the world. Aaron Gordon is having himself a hell of a clutch postseason run right now.
Yeah.
What?
Of all the guys.
So, yeah, I'm really excited.
3-pointer too is wild from Aaron Gordon. Like, he's a better shooter.
He shot 40% from 3 this year. He was
40%
from 3 this year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Damn.
It was wide fucking open. Just like, Aaron Gordon 3. Like LeBron.gif, you know? Like,
honestly, I think that only happens because Russ had the ball. Like, everyone thought Russ was going to go hero mode there.
True.
And when Russ decided not to, like, recklessly attack the rim, Chet was out of position and didn't close him down, like, properly.
Did y'all see the clip of the Nuggets network guys like watching the end of the game? They're like, no. Okay. When Russ had the ball.
Is there anything worse than seeing Russ go downhill in a 1-on-3? Like anyone else, you kind of thinking, but you like with Russ, you think he might actually think that's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first time, the most distinct memory I have of that. Like, no, okay, actually, yes, thank you. Like, was the Ron Artest shot in Game 7 of the 2010 Finals? Like,
That was, I could hear the entire city of LA be like, no,
oh yeah, okay,
oh,
yeah.
oh shit, let's go.
Yeah, that was yeah. Thanks for him, by the way. That was
Yeah, that was a banger.
Yeah.
He actually approached Kobe.
Yeah, I remember
naked in
in
the
the locker room.
Yeah. Murph.
The last matchup I was actually going to talk about, which we don't want to talk about too much on this show, but Knights Oilers. This I think is the best of the NHL second round. I think just because also you got strength on strength here. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. Oilers score a lot of points. Everyone knows that. There's going to be a lot of goals in this series. But on the flip side, Vegas actually has like the best defensive forwards in the NHL. You know, they're big physical guys. It's Stone, Eichel, Carlson. Like those are the three guys that they're going to be trotting out there in the front. And they're such a menace defensively and physically, which can be an issue for McDavid, who's kind of a faster guy, that there's talk about them actually, Oilers trying to refigure their lines and actually maybe potentially benching one of McDavid or Drysdale to try and offset the minutes to avoid the defensive forwards of this Vegas team, which means really just flipping them with Evander Kane. So you still have a top line guy like up there, but just flipping him and one of them to the second unit. So that's going to be very interesting coming into tonight is Oilers have to push their line first because the Knights are home. So it'll be interesting. That's kind of a fun little thing to look into as we head into the game. And obviously this is a rematch from a very great series that happened in 2023 when Vegas won in 6. Had a lot of goals, a lot of drama, great series. So grateful. Not a lot I've been grateful for, to be honest, recently. I guess we're going to pick something I thought was really cool. Wrexham, back-to-back promotions. So that's the team from Wales that Rob McElhaney and Ryan Reynolds bought shares in, and they kind of own it. They also have the show on Netflix, kind of documenting their kind of work on it. And yeah, they've taken them all the way from the semi-professional leagues now all the way. They're going to be in the second division. Yep. Like if they finish in the top 3 next year, they're in the Premier League. So the championship is, you can actually watch championship games in the US. Some cable companies actually carry that. So it's amazing how quickly they moved up. It's kind of a cool story. Yeah. And you know, it's amusing, and you don't know too much about Welsh soccer, but if you guys, anyone's interested, obviously the Netflix show is a good place to start. And yeah, it's that was kind of cool to see. My rant, I had a couple different things on the NFL. NFL, first off, the prank call on Shador and some of the other athletes, that's utterly ridiculous. I'm glad that it was the former Jets guy, right? And now Ulbrich. The Falcons, Ulbrich, the Jets, the Falcons defensive coordinator. Loved his apology to it. That was straight and probably about as direct and thing as you could. Put his own kid on blast for the whole thing. I think the NFL did well to come down hard on that with the fines and everything, but also leaving it just fines. I don't think the Falcons deserve any competitive like things for it. Like it's not like he did it maliciously. I'd be shocked if anyone could really potentially view that. So, but that's still ridiculous behavior. Also, NFL is now talking about potentially doing city connects. Please stop. No, absolutely not. Don't want this at all. I want my Packers in their green and gold. I do not want to be seeing them in whatever weird colors they're thinking of. I love how the Acme version that we do with the dark blue and the brown pants that look ugly as hell. At least, you know, we're paying homage to the old, you know, colors and jerseys. I'm fine with that. I don't want any new bedazzled, like fancy thing. Please stop. Like MLB has 162 games, you know, NBA is 82. I get trying to like mix it up, but even then I think they've gone a little overboard. NFL, wear your regular colors. You only have 8 home games. And my last one is about specifically Coach Denault and what the hell, how he handled the end of game 1 for the Thunder. That was coaching malpractice just across the board. First, the challenge on SGA and Jokic. I know you want to get Jokic out of the game, but SGA literally went up to you and told you don't challenge. I grabbed his arm, and then he challenged anyway, which cost him a timeout, which does come factor in later with, I get fouling up 3. I will never get fouling instantly up 3. The Thunder were up 3 points with, I believe it was 15.8 seconds left, if I remember right. The Nuggets had to inbound the ball. Nuggets inbound the ball. Jokic hits 2 free throws. They sub Jokic out. Shai get SGA.
He did it again. He did it again.
SGA gets the dunk, and then they inbound it to Gordon, and they foul him instantly. Now there's 12.9 seconds on the clock. They took off like 3.5 seconds to shoot 4 free throws, and they weren't even fouling bad free throw shooters. Those guys are both 80 plus free throw shooters. I could somewhat understand it if you like they found the ball into like Westbrook's hands or like a bad free throw shooter if you want to like play that game, DeAndre Jordan. But you really want to extend the game with 80% free throw shooters against your best free throw shooters. And I know they had a dunk on one of them. It's just put way too much pressure. I know Chet then choked the 2 free throws, but that's not a situation he should have ever been in. Like that game should not have been extended that long. I understand fouling up 3. I don't understand doing instant take fouls like you're the team trailing up 3. I think that was just coaching malpractice. I don't understand even the logic behind it. Also, Jokic wasn't even in the game for the second Eric Gordon one. Like the best player in the world can't get subbed back into the game, and you're kind of letting him get away with that. That I just don't know what he was thinking. That was so awful. I thought it was horrible at the time. Obviously, didn't know Chet was going to totally blow it, which to make it look even worse. But even if that had worked, that's not how fouling up 3 works. Fouling up 3, I always like is a situation where they're inside the 3-point line, or you get them like going back away and they can build some clock. Like 3.5 seconds going off the clock and then making 4 free throws. What are you doing here? I just flabbergasted. That coaching mistakes, I think, really drive me nuts because players at least can always fall back on, hey, it happened live. Like I didn't have time to like really think about it. It was an instinct move. I was trying to react. Coaches get to actually think about what they're doing. He thought about it. He thought that was his strategy. He had SGA told him not to do that challenge. He did it anyway. He had time to think about whether fouling instantly was a good idea, and he told his guys to do it. So that to me, just coaching stuff just drives me up a wall because it's something that you plan and prep for and not something you can really blame on the heat of the moment. And he cost his team a game that they absolutely at least should have gone to overtime. Maybe not necessarily won because the Nuggets were always going to get the ball back with a 3 to tie, but they should have been in a situation where worst case scenario is they hit a 3, and they would have had the timeout without that dumb challenge, and they would have had a chance for a game winner back. That's the situation that they should have left themselves in, and to leave themselves in a situation where, the Nuggets were able to put up a shot to win it in regulation is just inexcusable from where they were at game state wise.
It's a good informative rant.
Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely,
dude. Collin, you know what happened, right? Adam Silver called him and was like, hey, nope. I gave him the MVP. You need to give up the game 1. All right. Like,
yeah. But no, it was actually kind of weird. All 60-win teams lost their first game.
Yeah.
In the second round.
I'm not even going to talk about what happened with the Knicks and Celtics. That was a horrible game. That was an ugly game.
I know he was in the news for another thing this week, but when the Celtics went up 19, Barstool CEO Dave Portnoy tweeted, I called gentleman sweep before this started. That was too much respect. Celtics in 3. Of takes that age worse than Euno's taps. That's got to be on there pretty high.
Excuse me, my taps have not aged yet. You know, we're still waiting. We're still waiting for that second half collapse.
So, yeah, just thought that was another fun one. Actually, found about that tweet from the whole incident that happened at his Philly bar, but it was like somewhere deep in the comments on that whole thing.
Why is Dave Portnoy still being reported on? Like, who gives a shit what this guy says?
Oh, I don't know if you saw, there was a F the Jews like sign at one of his bars. He went ballistic, fired a bunch of people over the whole thing, and then did like a big rant that like made its way on national news over the whole thing. This was all like last Friday, I think.
So you do something really dumb, and then you get more famous. Oh, it sounds American to me.
No, he didn't do it. It was one of the patrons. Like,
yeah,
it was. I think it was a Temple student. Is what the whole thing ended up being. Yeah, and then he fired the servers and the managers, and then he was like on some expletive rant because it's Portnoy. He's got to like keep going bigger. But when I was reading about that story is when I found out about the Celtics in 3,
Oh my
which I
God.
thought would be fun to bring up here.
I just, yeah. Okay, Dave.
I mean, I think he was in the right on that one, at least.
Yeah, but like, you know, like
forced out
just
a
some
Barstool
stupid
his
anti-Semitic
response.
thing happens at your bar and then you get more famous over it. Like, I don't get that.
He got more famous. He's already pretty well known.
Well, yeah, but now I know he has a bar, so he's at least one more person more famous.
Hold on, you
Yeah,
didn't
like-
know about the Barstool bars?
I didn't know about the Barstool bar
I didn't
either.
know about the Barstool bars.
This is the most I've thought about Dave Portnoy,
Portnoy,
in
yeah,
a long
same.
time.
Well, not
Same.
like I'm advertising him or anything, but yeah, there's a
You
ton
literally
of them.
are, because me and Dan are here listening to it. But like, we're
You're
like,
like,
oh
oh,
shit, he's
okay.
got a bar.
Yeah, there's a string of them. Wherever they're all Barstool themed.
Mm.
They're in cities that you'd expect them to be in: Boston, Philly, Scottsdale, Vegas. You know, I think there's one in Vegas.
This podcast brought to you by.
I
The
knew about
Red
the
Sea
bar
white
thing.
trash.
I do listen to Pardon My Take. That's the only real Barstool thing I'm like super into. But
Okay.
I like those guys. They're fun. Big
I
cat.
don't even. I think I've seen Part of My Take. I
Yeah,
shouldn't crap on Dave Portnoy, but like, I don't even know who he is. So, yeah,
I honestly don't know.
I've never heard
I've seen
anything
this
good
video.
about him, except
Same.
like, yeah, I've never heard anything good about him.
Barstool's frequently in the news for not the best things.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, cool. And then I know there's like a bunch of like college frat boys who would die for him. So like that much I know.
Very
but-
popular in the frat scene.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Pardon My Take, I think, is the best thing that they produce. At least I think it was famous before the bar, for this show even. But it's a Bears and a Commanders fan, so they're just generally miserable about football.
Oh, that's incredible. Dan, do you have a plug for another sports show that you like to watch?
I listened to one about Cal Ripken Jr. recently, which was quite good. I can pull it up and it's opening here. Podcasts. There we go. It is called The Rumor. It's about incident in the 90s. I won't get too much into it. It was good. It was it's one of those like quirky side stories that happen in baseball, like it's good.
I'll take my opportunity to also plug. I don't know if you guys watch this guy, and I probably mentioned him on the podcast before, but Lance Brzezowski from Marquee Sports Network.
Oh, you've mentioned
He's awesome.
Yeah.
This guy is like a pitching, like he takes pitching nerdery to another level. Like he knows his stuff. And I'm surprised he hasn't been picked up by a team. That's the thing. I was like, how are you not on a team? He has amazing insight into the actual like stuff of pitchers and how like pitches are kind of workshopped and made, and you know the effects that might have on outcomes. So he actually published a list of pitchers you should look out for this season, and on it, I think he put Bobby Miller on there, but I think he just like Max Meyer was on there. Like he's paying really close attention to what mix and stuff that pitchers are using. And he was one of the first people to make a series of videos about rookie he would be dealing with. So shout out Lance Brzezowski, Marquee Sports Network. He has his own YouTube channel. He shows up on Foul Territory and like MLB Network a lot. He's just a freaking pitching savant. I love that guy. And brought up a really interesting point that I really wanted to make sure I got on the show today. And it's something I saw on Instagram, but there's apparently a like Velo Lab Instagram. And what they do is they study the biomechanics of pitching, and they kind of like publish like their findings or talk about like stuff that they're doing in their academy and things like that to build velo for pitchers. Well, one of the things that they pointed out, and this is something that actually Paul Skeens has kind of adopted, the lower your arm slot angle, the less strain you put on your elbow. So like, and your, I guess like biomechanically, it's a lot easier on your
saw
body.
that. Yeah.
So that was a really interesting insight. And it's like, hopefully, because Dan, Murph, I think we can all agree, we hate seeing pitchers get Tommy John. We hate seeing pitchers get, flexor tendon injuries and stuff like that and miss time because of rotator cuff issues and things like that. That's like the worst. Maybe we'll be heading towards an age where we can actually see pitchers pitch a whole freaking season. What a novel concept. Like maybe we'll get 200 innings pitched again, guys. But part of that is like the research that goes into, what's the optimal way to deliver a pitch? Like what's the optimal release angle? Like how should you be pitching to prevent injury? So super interesting stuff. I know I'm probably boring any general listeners to tears, but this is the kind of stuff that I nerd out over. So shout out Lance Brzdowski, who put me onto that. And yeah, love that show.
That is pretty great. Yeah. To plug something I actually do want to.
Really? You didn't want to plug Dave Portnoy? Like,
no, I just thought it was really the Celtics in 3. That was the whole point of the whole bit. Then I ended up going longer out of just a need to explain everything. That was why I read it in the first place. But no, the one I would actually say would be, it's good to see Zach Lowe free from whatever ESPN contract that had him not be able to show up on people's pods and stuff. I don't know if actually that's true or not. People have speculated, but it was weird that so much NBA stuff had gone on and Zach Lowe had been kind of silent for a while, but he's starting to do more regular appearances now. And it's great to have him back in time for the playoffs because, I do think he has his biases, especially, his anti-Harden agenda, but I do think he's one of the better and more informative people out there. And to Dan's point that he made several episodes back, he's someone that also doesn't really get caught up in the negative culture of the NBA media, which is way, way too pervasive across everything.
Nice. Shout out Zach Lowe always. I think Zach Lowe unlocked like a level of basketball understanding for me when I started reading his stuff. I was like, oh, like that's why that happens. Because before then I was just like, oh, this Kobe Bryant, he's a real bucket getter, this guy, like, and then you start reading about, all the stuff that, and he does a good job, like describing the NBA meta, which is to say like kind of the overall strategy of the game, the way it's changing based on, preferences or, what's more effective or how's the game being played right now. So I love that about him. Shout out Zach Lowe. Okay. We'll close it out here. Thanks again for joining us. It's good to see you guys again on separate screens. I really need to emphasize separate screens. Dan, hope
we were on separate screens. We just were in the same place.
Okay, in separate rooms.
Yeah,
where I can't hear your audio from. Dan, safe travels to Arizona. Murphman, as always, great to see you. We shot you know what? Real quick mention, we shot a round of golf on Saturday. Murph shot out of his mind. He was so money on the greens. This guy was like, he was a guaranteed 2-putt on the greens. It was awesome. I was like, damn, you are on fire, bro. Like, just killing it.
You are right. That was what I was actually going to do the grateful after Dan mentioned the basketball thing. Shot my course record.
Yeah, he shot his PR.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a competitive little game. Beat Euno by 24 strokes.
I had the closest to pin that day, though.
Yeah, you did have closest to pin.
Yeah.
And you and Ping both had birdies.
We both had birdies.
And I choked my birdie putt.
But you won by so many strokes. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you were so out in front. Yeah, I don't think Collin 3-putted all day. Was it? You had one?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he even had one. Yeah, that's how he was money.
I only had one triple, and that was the drop. Everything else.
That's right. Yeah. No, I remember that because we couldn't find it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Collin. Shot a great round. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, same time. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell us what you think. What do you want to hear? We're chilling. I think we are adopting a more laid-back style, which actually seems to be suiting our style. So if you like it, don't like it, tell us. What do you think? And we'll see you next week.